It was late on a warm summer night when I found myself moving quietly down the hallway of our modest suburban home. The day had been long, filled with work deadlines, errands, and a late dinner, but as a mother, I could never go to bed without first checking on my son. My name is Linda Carter, and my son's name is Ethan Carter. He's 16, smart, funny, and, like most teenage boys, sometimes a little careless about bedtime routines. That night, I wanted to make sure he was settled before I turned in myself. The hallway was dimly lit, and the soft hum of the ceiling fan echoed through the quiet house. I gently turned the doorknob to Ethan's room. I expected to find him sprawled on his bed, maybe with headphones still in, scrolling through his phone. But what I saw when I opened that door caught me completely off guard. Ethan wasn't alone. Sitting on the edge of his bed was his best friend, Jason Miller. Jason had been in our lives for years, practically growing up alongside Ethan. They met in the 2nd grade and had been inseparable ever since. I thought I knew Jason well. He was polite, respectful, and always greeted me with a smile. But that night, something about his expression and what he was doing startled me. Jason wasn't doing anything dangerous or inappropriate, but he was quietly crying. His hands were pressed over his face, and Ethan sat beside him with a hand on his shoulder. Jason was clearly upset, and Ethan looked like he was trying to comfort him. I stood frozen in the doorway for a moment, not wanting to intrude but also unable to walk away. The sight of Jason, usually so cheerful, now broken and vulnerable, shocked me. "Mom!" Ethan's voice broke the silence. His eyes widened when he saw me, as though I had caught them in the middle of something secret. Jason quickly wiped his tears, trying to compose himself. "I'm sorry," I said gently, stepping into the room. "I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just saying goodnight." Jason looked down, embarrassed, and Ethan glanced at me nervously. I could tell something serious was happening, something beyond the usual teenage drama. "Jason's going through something," Ethan explained quietly. "He didn't want to go home tonight, so I told him he could stay here." Jason finally lifted his head, his eyes red from crying. "I didn't mean to cause trouble, Mrs. Carter. I didn't know where else to go." My heart softened immediately. Whatever had happened, it was clear Jason felt safe here, in our home. And that meant something. I pulled up the chair from Ethan's desk and sat down across from them. "You're not causing trouble," I assured him. "Sometimes it helps to talk. Do you want to share what's going on?" Jason hesitated at first, glancing nervously at Ethan, who gave him a small nod of encouragement. Slowly, Jason opened up. He revealed that things at home had been tense for a while. His parents had been arguing constantly, and earlier that evening, the fight had gotten so bad that Jason felt like he couldn't take it anymore. He had left the house without saying much, riding his bike straight to Ethan's. He didn't want to be in the middle of another shouting match, and he didn't feel like he had anyone to turn to. As he spoke, I could see how much pain he carried. His voice shook as he described feeling invisible in his own home, like no one truly listened to him. My heart broke for him. No child, no matter their age, should feel like they don't belong in their own family. Ethan sat quietly, letting Jason talk, his face serious in a way that reminded me how much he was growing up. I realized then that Ethan wasn't just listening as a friend, he was being a real support system for Jason, the kind that every teenager needs but doesn't always find. I reached out and rested my hand on Jason's arm. "Jason, you're always welcome here. You don't have to go through this alone. Sometimes adults forget how their arguments affect their kids, but that doesn't mean your feelings don't matter. They do. Very much." Jason gave me a small, grateful smile. I could see the weight on his shoulders begin to lift, even if just a little. That night, I made up a bed for Jason on the pull-out couch in the living room. Ethan stayed by his side until Jason finally drifted off to sleep, exhaustion etched on his face. Before heading to my own room, I stood in the hallway for a while, reflecting on what I had just witnessed. What shocked me wasn't that Jason was upset. What shocked me was how strong the bond between Ethan and Jason truly was. I realized that night that friendships in teenage years aren't just about video games, sports, or school, they can be lifelines, anchors in the storm. The following days were filled with conversations. Jason confided in me more than once, and I found myself stepping into a role I hadn't expected, not replacing his parents, but simply being another adult who would listen without judgment. Ethan continued to be his loyal friend, walking with him through the uncertainty at home. Over time, Jason's parents sought counseling, and things at home slowly began to heal. But that night in our home became a turning point for Jason, Ethan, and even for me. It reminded me that being a mother sometimes means extending that love and care beyond your own child, offering it to those who need it most. Years later, Ethan and Jason both went on to college, still the best of friends. Whenever Jason came by to visit, he always joked about the night I caught him crying in Ethan's room. But behind the laughter, there was always a quiet gratitude, a bond that none of us would ever forget. And as I look back on that night, I realize that opening Ethan's door wasn't just about saying goodnight. It was about opening my heart a little wider, learning that sometimes the greatest surprises in life come not from shock or fear, but from unexpected moments of connection, empathy, and love.